So guys, today I'm working on a project that's been in my head for a while, and it's a potato tower, which is not anything new because they've been around for a long time and a lot of people have been making them. But this particular potato tower is a self-watering potato tower. You never have to water it as long as you get a minimal amount of rainfall. The reservoir in the center will keep water and slowly release it to your potatoes over a period of a week to 2 weeks. So it's super simple to put together. Follow along and I'll show you exactly how to make it. It's a potato tower, but it's probably not like one you've seen before. Okay guys, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to clean our 3-inch PVC, and this is going to act as our water reservoir for our self-watering potato tower. So I'm just going to carefully clean this and make sure there's no dust or debris. Now I did do a test to see if the tower with this firmly in place, if it would leak. It did leak, so you're going to need to use PVC glue to seal the bottom of it, or all the water that you put in this will drain out through the very base and you won't get a lot of benefits for your potatoes. So let's do this first step and just get some of our PVC glue, put it around the very base to seal the PVC so we don't have any water leakage. I'm going to put that on there and give it about a minute to completely dry, and it'll be completely watertight. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put a bolt through the PVC, and that's going to act as a way to secure the rain catch to the top of our PVC pipe. Okay, we're just going to drill straight down, and we're going to go from about 1 inch from the top of our pipe. Okay, and we're going to make sure, and I had to go through quite a few bolts to find this one because I don't have one that's exactly the right size. So we're just going to run that through, and we may have to do a little bit of tweaking to get it to fit all the way in there. I may have to make this one slightly larger, but let's just take another peek there. And we're so close. I think I'm going to have to drill out this one just a little bit larger. Okay, now let's see if that one fits in there just a little bit better. Yep, there we go. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to put our bolt on the other, or nut on the other side. Just hand tighten it down. It doesn't have to be super tight. This is just going to hold our rain catch, and we may come back later and then tighten it down with a wrench. Okay guys, we're going to dig a hole directly in the center of our 4x4 bed, and we may do some companion planting again later in the year. Okay guys, we're going to use a level to make sure we're straight up and down, and then we're going to carefully reintroduce our soil back into our hole, and this will stabilize our PVC pipe. And we just want to kind of pack it in there, and I'll go back again and double check and make sure we're still perfectly vertical, but that's really important. We just want it to be straight up and down. All right, and I think we have our PVC installed. Okay guys, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to need to install our support rod that will prevent, in a strong wind situation, it'll prevent our entire tomato cage from toppling over in, let's say, a windstorm or some tornadic activity. So we're going to install this. I'm going to take a hammer and hammer this into the ground. I might try to install it, but I'm going to just do a little bit of fast forward here and let you see what that next step is. Okay guys, we've got our rod into the ground. We've got our tomato cage in place. We're going to wire everything together to make sure this doesn't blow over in a heavy windstorm, because there's going to be a lot of weight to this and there's going to be a lot of surface area. If we have a big wind come through, there's a big chance it might get blown over. So guys, that is our rain catch, and our automatic watering mechanism up there on top is basically just a trash can lid. We're going to secure it to our water basin or our water reservoir and make sure that it doesn't leak, but we're going to put the holes right in the center to make sure that any rain goes right into our 3-inch PVC. Now, maybe a little bit closer demonstration of exactly what I'm talking about, but we don't want to go further out than this 3-inch barrier. So we want our holes in here, and also we want 2 holes that our wire is going to come up through so we can secure it and make sure this doesn't blow off again in a heavy windstorm. Now we're going to use 2 of these holes to secure to our bolt, and the rest of them are basically just drain holes, so when the water comes in from a rain, it will drain directly into the center and go directly into our PVC pipe reservoir. All right, this is just some copper wire. It's easily bendable, as you can see, and this is what's going to hold it in place. So I'm going to just run this around our bolt, pull it back up, and we're going to run it through our rain catch. I'm just going to pull these over here so it doesn't slide down inside the PVC. I'm going to carefully bring this up and run each one of these into the holes and just do our best not to lose our wire. A little tricky on getting it in here, but it's not that hard. Okay, now we're going to tighten these down to make sure that it's level, it's not going to move, and make sure it's covering the entire PVC. Make sure that it doesn't come down the sides, that it drains directly into our reservoir. And from what I can see here, we're going directly into the pipe. Now I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm just going to secure with the copper wire the potato tower cage to our in-ground post. And this is going to secure it and make sure it doesn't fall over. Okay. Okay guys, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to drill in 3 holes at each level, and I'm going to put a piece of Mr. Landscaper micro irrigation hose, so as this fills up it will slowly drain out to each level and allow each one to have about the same amount of water. So guys, I wanted to make sure it was clear because I want to go over exactly what I was doing there. On each layer, we're going to have a layer of straw, a layer of compost and potting soil mixed together, our potatoes, another layer of soil on top of the potatoes, and then go on to the straw and repeat that process over and over. So what I'm doing here is I've put these landscaping micro irrigation tubes in each one of these drill holes, and I put 3 on each level. They're extremely tight. When I put them in there, it was very hard to force them in there. So they're going about an inch into the PVC pipe. Now there's a couple of ways we can drain our main reservoir. Either we can have something like this where we can adjust it. We can have a drip, a preset drip tip that I've got some inside the greenhouse. I'm probably going to add those to it. But what I'm saying is you can adjust the amount of water flow where it leaks very slowly, or you could leave the end of the irrigation hose completely open. It'll drain out not super fast, but within probably an hour to 2 hours, it will completely drain. So after a rainstorm, you would have each layer of potatoes getting a nice watering. Also, you could add a little bit of fertilizer, high potassium, high phosphorus fertilizer to your reservoir on top. Let it drain into the soil in each layer, and so each layer of potatoes are getting a great fertilization and watering at the same time. So guys, the sun is setting and I've got to get this completed today. So I'm going to add each layer in time lapse so you can see me put it completely together, and you'll get an idea of how it's going to look once it's completed. And the potatoes, I'm going to put probably 3 to 4 potatoes that are already chitted, and they are organic, so they will grow properly. They're not seed potatoes, but I've grown organic potatoes many times from the grocery store. But you just want to make sure they say organic on the bag, because if they're not organic, they may have been sprayed with a sprout inhibitor to prevent them from sprouting in the grocery store. So just remember, you're looking for organic potatoes, or you're going to have to specifically buy a more expensive seed potato. So guys, some things to take into account is you're doing a layer of straw, your compost topsoil mix, and I'll link up above how to make your own topsoil. It's really a way to save 75% off of the cost of your topsoil. After you put straw, compost, and homemade topsoil, then put in your potatoes, then put another layer of soil, and then put another layer of your straw, and repeat that process all the way up to the top. Now, I had the side open and I closed it up by pulling over the wire as I went up. That way I could go in at each level. Also, I can adjust the micro irrigation hoses to exactly where the potatoes were, so I know that when I get some rain or if I decide to water it myself, it'll go exactly to where the potatoes is at. So guys, another reason I wanted to do a vertical potato tower is because potatoes take up so much room in my garden. I only have a limited amount of space, and I have potatoes growing right now in a 4x8 bed, and it's taking up the entire bed. This only takes a 4x4 bed, and I can plant all sorts of things around it, and also it's easy to harvest at the end of the year. So guys, I hope you'll consider making your own vertical self-watering potato tower. It's really super simple. It's not hard to do at all. So I just want to say thanks so much for watching. If you have any comments or if I left anything out, leave them down below, and have a great day.